Hey guys, so this is kind of a reaction video. I'm gonna have my other phone here, my other device. Let me unplug that for a second. Hopefully it's not gone. Oh, it's gone. Anyway, so it was headphonesy. It's a very rage baiting page on Facebook. Every hour, 4 hours, 6 hours, they post something about audio, like a question, like, "Hey, what kind of tube amplifier would you advise a new guy?" And then they make this AI slop picture with that just to basically gain farming likes. You know how it is. That's just the way it works. These days, when you try to educate people, that is not relevant anymore, and that is not really being received well by people. They rather watch stupid shit. That's fine. So I'm reading the comment section, and I commented on there. So listen, I said, look, what you already know, I already said this in my videos. I would not advise a new guy that's brand new in this hobby any tube, and it has nothing to do with what tube does. We'll get to that in a second. But it has to do with the fact there's a lot of cost involved. Certain speaker choices will not really work well on tube amplifiers, in my opinion. Tubes don't have a great damping factor, etc. And I said that. So look, I said I would just tell a new guy, just start on a solid stage. You grow into the flavor of the tube. That's what I call it. Of course, there has to be some lonely Cheetos, hot pocket eating, basement dwelling zombie out there that has to react on my post. Of all posts out there are tons of them. Ha! Tubes that are just distortion. That's all it is. And this is a thing I've read a lot. A lot of people think that way, that tube amplifiers is distortion. That's why they have this sound. Wrong. That's not how tubes operate. These things have a certain operating range. In the linear operating range of a tube, if you stay within those boundaries, a tube has very, very low distortion, just like your solid state has. The distortion kicks in when you start to saturate your output transformers. Usually, it's more indicative to the circuit design. So talking about the output transformers, etc., than the tubes themselves. It takes a hell of a lot to overpower a tube. It takes a hell of a lot, especially in hi-fi, to do that. Also, added to the fact that a lot of people that have tubes and understand tube amplifiers a little bit better than clearly your stupid sorry asses, they put a very efficient speaker on there. Say a Clips, 90 plus dB speaker. Do you know how far you need to go to really get into a harmonic distortions on the tube? You'll be deaf by that level. So stop pretending you know stuff. If you don't understand the material, there's plenty to read about it. It's free information, guys. You can grab your phone, stop watching these little porn and TikToks and bullshit that you're watching, and read a little bit before you make a dick out of yourself. I don't even indulge the comments no more because it's just dumb stuff. But that's how that works. Yes, solid state is technically better. We know that. We figured that shit out. Don't worry. So I'm not sitting here trying to pretend or protecting this oh so nice and sweet looking stuff. But it's also not the way it is you think it is. Do some reading. This stuff is still viable. It's still extremely pleasant to listen to tubes. Myths that you have a good match speaker to it. You don't want to have an 80 dB speaker being driven by a tube amplifier unless it's a very eccentric high power tube amplifier. Also, yes, the damping factor sucks. That's the reason you got sloppy bass, etc. That's why, if you look at my reference setup, you know this. I've already explained it tons of times how this is set up. Um, Solid state is better at a lot of things. More power, it's current driven instead of voltage driven. You have more control, etc. But it's an acquired taste, and it's more expensive. Tubes are more expensive. These things wear out. The advantage is every time you put a new quad set of tubes on this thing, you have basically a brand new amplifier for the most part. So there's advantages and disadvantages, guys. But don't sit there trying to sell that poo-ha bullshit that y'all come up with. Like, well, tubes distort inherently. They don't distort inherently. Your fucking IQ distorts. That's the problem. Anyway, going up to the next video.